biggest issue stopping people from creating content isn't equipment or budget. It's camera confidence. So today I'm sharing a method I like to call the interview style method that we also use in our studio here in Houston, Texas. And this method will work for everybody. Even if you're the shyest person on the planet, this method will work for you. So let's talk about why people struggle on camera in the first place. So the number one thing is they feel self-conscious. Second thing is they forget what to say all the time. They think they need to be perfect. And this is like one of the main points is like they hate how they look or sound. These are kind of like the four things that we see repeatedly when it comes to new people coming in front of camera or just creating content in general. So when it comes to the interview style, here's kind of like the secret. You just stop looking at the camera. Like seriously, just stop looking at the camera. And here's how we implement this style. So we'll have cameras on the side, and this is just to kind of like record at a 45-degree angle. So the 45-degree angle is pretty simple. It's just you're looking straight, it's just going to be this way. That's 45-degree angle. And then right now what I'm looking at is another camera at this very moment. But just imagine there's like a person sitting over here. And now we're just going to have a regular conversation. Just going back and forth. Let's say I'm sitting over here and you as a business owner not being comfortable in front of camera are sitting where I'm sitting. And then we're just having a regular conversation. We'll have two cameras, as I said again, and I'll show you how this looks as well on the screen. So you can perhaps implement this within your own setting. And we can do this online as well. It doesn't need to be in a studio. What we do is just like, we just ask very simple baseline questions and then we just keep it very conversationalist. It's not like, you know, we're hitting you with hard questions or it's a TMZ interview. None of that. It's just going to be very simple, very conversationalist, because one of the things we notice is like these people are like fantastic speakers. Like if you're having a one-on-one conversation with them off camera, they're relaxed and their tone flows pretty well. I don't know, they're just very relaxed and fine outside of just being in front of camera. So as soon as you turn the cameras on, that's where kind of like the switch happens and they just start to like freeze or some thoughts going inside their head, which is fine, which is a completely natural thing to happen. Like this is something that every single person goes through. So we were like, okay, not everyone has time to kind of like go through 6 sessions and then be comfortable. How can we just eliminate that from the get-go? So that is where kind of like the interview style method, we were amazed how just instantly it works. So like I said, we just sit here, person who's being interviewed sits here, and then we just have a conversation. We start off with the formalities, we start off with simple questions, and then we'll just ask sub questions within their answers. Like I said, just to keep it conversationalist. Keep in mind, like if somebody else is interviewing you, like they need to know what they're doing basically with the questions and stuff. So that's a side note too. And let me give you an example of how this looks like. So one of our clients, Shomer, we tried this on him. And once he first came to the studio, when we first did the interview style method with him, he was very stiff. He was like over here. His shoulders were kind of like glued together basically. Of course, he eased up as the time passed and his hands were down over here. And as soon as we like kind of like started the conversation, we started progressing the conversation. At the 25th to 30th minute mark, we noticed that his hands started to come up. He was enjoying the conversation more and he was just open a lot. And that is kind of like the clips we ended up using, because delivery is just one of those things where people underrate all the time. Because if your delivery is bad, you could have the nuclear codes in your video. Nobody's gonna watch it. They're gonna like probably stop at the 6th code because your delivery isn't there. Delivery is always at the top, and after that comes kind of like the editing, what the script is, and all of those type of things come after delivery. So that's the whole reason why like the first 15 minutes could have been gold, but the last 15 minutes had better delivery. So that's the one we ended up using. So we made like 8 short clips from those last 15. I'm pretty sure it was longer than 15 minutes because we created 8 clips, and then we used those clips and then of course edited it, made it all polished, made it look fancy, and then published it online onto the socials. So just to kind of recap, to use this method, just find somebody to be your interviewer, set up your camera at 45 degrees, have them ask you questions, keep the conversation flowing, and edit out the questions later. You can just edit out the questions later, and the editor's job would be just kind of like polish the whole thing. In some cases, you might even leave the questions, but very, very important, you follow exactly that. Like remember, your audience wants to connect with a real person, not a perfectly polished presenter. Use this method, be yourself, and start creating content that actually resonates. If you want me to help you do exactly this, just book a session with me if you're in Houston within the studio, or we can do this virtually as well. There's a Calendly link in the description. Just click on that, book a time that works for you, and then we'll take it from there. Other than that, just make sure to hit the subscribe button for future videos because I'll be posting every single week. Also, hit the like button because that does something for the algorithm as well. So if you want to like-minded people as yourself to view this content, that would help out a lot. I'll see you in the next one.